What the heck is up, guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes here, back with another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys My Hero Academia Mirio Togata or Lemillion. Y'all know I love My Hero Academia, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with that sexy packaging, we do have the window where we can see the figure. I gotta say, it looks nice, and I've heard some things about this, but we'll talk about that later. It says My Hero Academia right there, ages 12 and up right there. McFarlane Toys and the logo right there. We've got an image of Mirio right here, looking dope. It says his name right there. Nothing much going on right there. It says Funimation. At the top, all the legal stuff, barcode. Go ahead and get that if you want. Right here on the side, we've got a little half image of him, McFarlane Toys, Mirio. Same thing on this side, My Hero Academia. Then on the back, we have what really caught me off guard, and this is something I was going to call out. In this pose right here, which is clearly the figure, as you guys can see, he is in a pose where he doesn't have the visor on and he looks angry. But if you look at the figure, this is what we got. So I don't know what's up with that, but I wanted to make sure to call that out because that's a weird decision. I really hope Todd's not going to release this figure again, same exact figure, except give it this expression, which he's probably going to do that. But anyway, let's go ahead and bust this figure open so we can talk about it. So straight out of the packaging, I got to say, this figure looks good, but that's about all. And I hate to say that, but that is about all that this figure has going for it so far. Let me move my light out of the way and let's bring this guy closer. First off, that head sculpt. That head sculpt is nice. That looks exactly like Mirio straight from the anime. Honestly, I would argue this is probably the best head sculpt that they've done. Costume design, perfect. This just looks really good. Visually, this thing looks nice. Almost import quality in terms of how it looks, if I do say so myself. Now, as I said, so far, that's all that it has going for it. But I want to show off this cape too. They did a real good job sculpting this cape. I love the way that this figure looks, and that's probably the only thing that's going to have me keeping this in my collection, because first issue I have, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. This. I have tried putting this in hot water. I have tried just like shoving this head on there. I don't know what is up, man, but this head just will not go on, and you guys see me doing it. Boom, comes right off. That is awful. That is awful. I don't know what is up with that, but I can't get it to go on. And this is still warm from having it in hot water. And I'm talking like almost boiling hot water. So don't think I half did it. Now, the rest of what's wrong with this guy, first off, I probably should save it all for articulation, but I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of the way now. This figure's like a statue, man. It looks like it has all of this articulation, but it's only in the arms. The arms, they're like the only thing that can do anything. This guy has a diaphragm joint, and this is about as much as you can do with it. You can rock it to the side. Moving forward, ain't none of that. Moving back, ain't none of that. So it's like, what is that even there for? Same thing with the legs. You get the legs to go forward about that much. That's it. And like I said, I had someone tell me about this figure, so I came into it expecting this, but I didn't think that it was going to be this bad. Like, this thing is literally a statue. I feel like if I move his leg forward any more than this, it's going to break. I legit feel like that. The arms, they move fine. You don't have any issues with that. But the torso and the legs, just straight up, well, the torso and I'm just going to say this area right here. Horrible. Also, the feet. I want to make sure I touch on this. These feet are so stiff, like they move, but they kind of have that issue where it's sometimes, I've seen it with Hasbro, where it's like they'll click in one area and they won't stay. I don't know how to explain it, but basically it won't stand. Like, you got to kind of mess with this guy a lot to make him stand. But anyway, overall, the figure looks nice. He has a lot of problems. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive further into it by putting this guy back so we can see how tall he stands. Now, in terms of his height to the top of his mohawk, Mirio literally stands right at about 7 inches. A little bit under 7 inches to the top of his forehead. So, tall figure. That makes sense. He is a very tall character. He is, of course, 7 in scale, as McFarlane always does. So, yeah, I will show him off with some size comparisons a little bit later. But for now, let's go ahead and dive into the part that I am dreading, the articulation. With the head issue that I'm having, he looks up only about that much, which is pretty much nothing. It's just, it still looks like he's looking forward. But of course, that is because the hair is touching the back of the neck. So I can understand that. In terms of looking down, he looks down pretty well. You do get really good tilt and turn. Mine is still having this issue. So I'm showing you guys this with that issue still taking place. So yeah, be aware of that. The arms go up and out about that much. That is wonderful. That's great. As far as coming in, you can bring them in about that much. It looks like he has a butterfly joint, but I mean, there's no butterfly joint in there. It's just extra articulation or just extra sculpt, I guess. That's kind of useless, but it is in there. He does have a bicep swivel, no problem. Double jointed elbows. He can bring his arms all the way in, so he can touch the back of his neck if you want him to. His hands are on... That was kind of expected. But yeah, his hands are on this hinge or ball peg, whatever you want to call it. And this is very stiff, but it does move. And let's put that back on. I guess I'll use some sticky tack on that in the next segment. Actually, let me take this off. Now, as far as the torso, this is where everything just gets horrible. This is the extent of what you get. And I don't know how that looks on camera, but it's nothing. You can't lean him back at all. You can't really lean him forward at all. You can tilt and turn, but it's not going to look good. You can not turn him at the waist. I actually thought that you could, so that's even worse. You can't turn this guy at the waist at all. I'm trying, and it just feels like something's going to break in there if I do that, so that's not going to happen. Kicking forward, as I showed earlier, that's about as much as you get. So you can get Mirio taking a step if you want him to. That's the extent of that. Now, as far as kicking out, you can do that just fine. He can do the splits, no problem. Not all the way, but definitely good enough. No swivel in there, not at all. So don't even expect a thigh swivel. As far as the knees go, they are double jointed and they look really ugly. I'm used to that though. That doesn't really bother me much, but they do look ugly, so just be expecting that. Even though there's really no point for you to even have these at a double bend because his leg articulation is so trash. It's not necessary. But anyway, foot goes down about that much, up about that much. Really good ankle rocker, and then you do get a toe hinge as well. So articulation-wise, I got to say, man, this guy gets a 3 out of 10. McFarlane can do better than this. Like, I don't know. This is such a dope character, man. This figure looks good. How could they botch this? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just irritated by this. So for accessories, you guys already know that's almost non-existent in the McFarlane department as usual. First off, you get this default head sculpt where he's smiling and just kind of looking happy, all Mirio-like, which is to be expected. This is normal. You do get a trigger hand. I don't know why they always include these, but since they do it, I'm going to show you guys that they can hold guns. I mean, why not? He's going to give it to us every single figure he puts out. I will never understand that, but whatever. And then he does get like an open palm hand where his fingers are separated a little bit. And that's cool. But what I really like is the fact that he actually included fist hands this time around. This is something we very rarely get. But when we get it, I do appreciate it just because it's sad to say, but he just never does it. So, yeah, happy we got those. And then, of course, we do get the My Hero Academia or McFarlane stand. At this point, it just says My Hero Academia on it. And that's all we get in terms of accessories. It's not like you really could have included much with Mirio, but it really does bug me when they do stuff like this and show us what we could have got with this guy and then just not included. Like, that is... We could have got this as a separate head sculpt, but I don't know, man. I'm so irritated right now. I'm sorry, guys. Moving on to size comparisons, here he is standing next to a couple of other McFarlane figures from the My Hero Academia line. We do have Aizawa right here, which was actually a pretty decent figure. We do have the first release Deku. I do have a statue head that I put on the body. It's not the original, just because it topped this figure off and made it look so much better. And then, of course, we do have Shigaraki as well. All of these figures having decent articulation, so I don't know why they slacked off on Mirio. Next up, if you wanted to wedge him in with some of the Revoltech figures, here he is standing next to the Revoltech All Might, the Revoltech Deku, and the Revoltech Bakugo, which I don't think these look too bad. Sometimes, depending on the art, the animation, and who drew certain episodes, Deku does look about this height compared to Mirio, sometimes a little bit bigger. So I feel like this could work, and also this All Might is so tall, I think this works as well. In case you don't have the Revoltech figures, but you do have some of the Figma, here he is standing next to a couple of them. We do have the Figma Deku, the Figma Kirishima, and the Figma Ochiko. I don't think he looks too bad next to them. There will have to be some perspective shots if you do photography, but I think you could still wedge it in if you wanted to. And lastly, for some extras, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends PS4 Gamerverse Spider-Man, a Hasbro Fortnite Victory Royale Series Shadow Meowscles, and of course a DC Collectibles Greg Capullo Batman. And yeah, I don't think he looks bad with these guys either. Spider-Man could be a little bit bigger, but once again, you could probably still make it work. Now, I'll be honest, man, this figure bothers me for more reasons than I can count. And they're all bad. But first off, another issue that I found is that the waist right here is like super crooked on mine. And I don't know what's up with that, but it looks like his hip is kind of like leaning to the side, while this upper piece right here wants to lean to the opposite side. So I don't know what's up with that. And then I'm looking at the packaging right here, and it showcases that this upper body can be articulated. You can see whatever prototype this is, unless this is complete absolute Photoshop, you can lift the upper torso on this figure. They did it on the promo image. So like, I don't know what's up, man. Like, all the issues I have with this figure, I think they're valid. But what bothers me the most is the fact that this had the formula to be a really good Mirio figure. Like this, honestly, if the articulation was good on this, I would be fine if no import company was to ever make a Mirio figure. I would be fine. This would sit in my collection just perfectly, and I would be happy. I'm happy with Aizawa. I'm happy with the Deku. I'm even happy with Shigaraki, man. Like, I'm happy with all of the other releases that I still have in my collection, and I was really looking forward to this one. But once again, I heard from a buddy that this figure was pretty bad, but it's just way worse than I can imagine. Now, if you're picking this figure up just to stand it in your collection, just to stand it still and to probably never touch, then you'll be happy with this because it looks grand. This thing looks amazing. But that's all that it has going for it. I really just wanted to go all in and take some crazy dynamic shots. Mirio just like beating up people, just showcasing his crazy quirk that he maximized in the series. That is so cool. He made something not cool look cool. And man, McFarlane, man, I try so hard to root for them. I know I'm not the biggest McFarlane fan, but it's because they do stuff like this. When I really want them to do something nice and I'm expecting them to do something nice, they just absolutely mess it up. And really, I'm trying not to go on a rant, but I love this character so much, and this just bothers me, man. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. I'll stop my rant over. Oh my gosh. The figure's $19.99, so if you want to pick him up to stand him in your collection, by all means. I hope they re-release this at some point with better articulation, because this just makes me so mad. I know I said I was going to stop ranting, but anyway, that's my review. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, but you probably didn't. Give me a thumbs up for wasting my money on this. Give me a thumbs up for reviewing this figure despite my frustrations. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe because that always helps me out. Share the video, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, even if you dislike this video. And bye.